The Arxturian Group, Present Times. Dear readers, welcome to our message. Present times have become intense and confusing for most, but you were aware of what the ascension process would involve before you chose to incarnate and be a part of it. In spite of negative appearances, Earth is well into the process of evolving toward a more enlightened world, but the old has to come down in order for the new to be built. Every spiritually evolved state of consciousness on Earth is automatically adding truth and light to the collective because there is only one. You may be experiencing sorrow, depression, lack of energy, and physical pain, etc., but do not claim these things as being personally yours, or they will become personally yours because you are a creator. Any physical, emotional, mental, or even spiritual issues you may be experiencing at this time are dense energies accumulated over hundreds of lifetimes, moving through in order to clear. Clearings feel very real and personal, but always remember that the only qualities that are real and truly yours are God qualities. Everything else is not God-ordained, maintained, or sustained, and has only a belief in their reality to hold them in place. Many are living with one foot in both worlds at this time, because three-dimensional energy has been the dominating factor affecting almost everyone over the course of every lifetime. Over time, these dense energies have become invasive, penetrating the cells of your body, your thoughts, your emotions, and your reality, preventing the majority from remembering who they are and why they are on Earth. It is very easy, even for those who are spiritually awake, to fall into beliefs of duality, separation, and many powers, even as they attempt to stay centered in the awareness of one power and reality. Be brave, dear ones, for much is about to unfold. You will be surprised and shocked by the coming revelations necessary for change and awakening those choosing to remain locked in the past and a less evolved belief system. The collective consciousness is becoming increasingly enlightened as more and more humans awaken out of the three-dimensional dream state. This in turn will allow Earth's collective consciousness to begin manifesting change and higher forms of everything. God alone is. God, the one omnipresent divine consciousness, is the only reality, law, cause, and effect. And God's name is I. When the Master Jesus long ago said, "I am the way, the truth, and the light," it was misinterpreted by those unable to understand the message from a spiritual level. They took the words to mean that only Jesus was God. And this mistake has led to the basic error underlying almost all present-day Christianity. This master, along with others throughout time, were trying to tell people that the I of every person is God. I is not the personal ego-based sense of self that most humans entertain as being who they are, but is the real identity of every person. True meditation is resting in a silent awareness of I am, in the realization that the I that I am is infinitely expressing not a little bit, but the fullness of itself in, as, and through me. The hypnotism of the three-dimensional belief system has and continues to prevent most from experiencing or even being aware of this. Fear is the overriding energy of Earth's collective consciousness. Humans are continually being bombarded with messages based in fear. Fear is a component of almost every ad on all media sources because it sells products and services. Fear motivates even the simplest of choices and underlies advice and guidance of every sort, even those thought to be for a person's betterment. Fear represents third-dimensional energy at its fullest and has filtered into every aspect of daily living. Fear preaches that humans are born separate from everything they might need, be it goods, health, security, happiness, companionship, or even a loving God, and that they must seek for these things outside of themselves in the belief that once they have attained the right relationship, living situation, employment, politician, education, government, bank account, church, etc., they will feel whole and complete. These beliefs have resulted in a collective fear that is felt even by those who are spiritually aware. Do not be surprised or go into resistance when you experience fear, because over the course of hundreds of lifetimes, fear has at one time or another saved or been the demise of everyone, which has caused it to become ingrained at some level in almost every person. Never resist fear or any negative emotion, for that simply feeds its power in reality. Recognize fear for what it is, meaning a manifestation of the belief in separation from God, others, and your good. Ask yourself what you are believing that is causing the fear and replace it with truth. Without guilt or feeling that somehow fear makes you less spiritual, then take whatever human steps you are guided to take. Many practical, commonly accepted actions already established in the third-dimensional world will continue, but in higher forms. This is how you build and evolve into a state of consciousness that is free of fear and will be all the safety, security, harmony, and self-completeness you will ever need. Fear automatically lessens when it is no longer fed and is gradually replaced by intuition. Fear is the only way those living solely from three-dimensional consciousness, unable or unwilling to access their intuition, can be guided. Because fear is a three-dimensional creation, recognize fear thoughts when they arise and greet them with the words, "Oh, you again," and then move on. Every person is now or soon will be experiencing at a crossroads. Do I move more fully into living what I have come to know as truth, or do I continue to utilize and live from the three-dimensional belief system that has worked well for me in the past? This does not mean that you throw up your hands shouting that God is all and leaving behind everything in the material world, but rather means realizing that if you want to ascend into the higher frequencies of the new earth, you must begin to consciously know, practice, and live from your highest level of spiritual awareness. The shift to spiritual living has been made difficult by those who continue to teach and preach that a person must struggle, suffer, and abide by all sorts of man-made rules in order to know God. Once a person wakes up and accepts that there is only one, and that that one is now and forever has been expressing itself as them and all life, they move into a state of consciousness that no longer needs tools, ceremonies, special prayers, or even a guru to access God. This is the mystical life, a life that will continue to unfold and reveal itself as new experiences, knowledge, and insights, because you now know that the peace, harmony, health, safety, self-sustaining completeness you sought in the outer are already fully present within. This realization allows your true self to begin manifesting without any help from you or outer tools. Be aware of what is taking place in the outer scene, but do not make it into a power over you. It is very easy to slip back into assigning power to negative appearances, but your work as an evolved person on earth at this time is to add truth and light to the collective. God is always expressing itself, but you must open the door. Get out of the way and let I Am do the work for you. We are the Arxturian group.